talking wrestling, living the dream. From Tokyo to London, across the globe, respecting the craft, we're in the know. No gimmicks or fakes, just pure passion and skill. The best talents from every wrestling hill. We dive deep into the stories behind the ring. Respecting the craft, making the fans sing. Respect the craft, making the fans sing. Respect the craft, respect the fight. We bring the best, we can't hide. Respect the craft, making the fans sing. Respect the craft, respect the fight. We bring the best, we can't hide. We dive deep into the stories behind the ring. Respect the craft, making the fans sing. Respect the craft, respect the fight. We bring the best.
And we are live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Respect the Craft. This is episode number 268, and I'm joined here by none other than Pat Dynamite. What's going on, man?
Yo, what up? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Glad to have you here. Finally, we could discuss all the things you have coming up and a lot more. But before I get into that, before I have all the questions I want to ask you, I have to ask you the question I ask everyone that comes on. You heard the name of the podcast. It's called Respect the Craft. So for you, when you hear that term, the craft, what does that mean to you?
I instantly think of the craft of pro wrestling, just the art that it is, the actual in-ring nitty-gritty of it.
Got you. No, that works. So
That's
now
all.
for you though, when it comes to now deciding to step into the craft, to step into the art of professional wrestling here, what was it for you? Because it's one thing, to find that love for it, find that it's like this is something I want to watch, something that's like that hobby. What was it for you that made you decide, you know what? I need to step in there. I need to step through those ropes.
Yeah, so I've been a fan since I was like 10 or 11, but what made me really want to start doing it was probably that like early 2014 era NXT with like Tyson Kidd, Adrian Neville, guys like that. Once I started seeing guys like that, I was like, I feel like I could like do this. I can see myself doing this, And from there, like I just started backyard wrestling with my friends, and that made me love it even more. I've been wrestling professionally since I was 16. I'm 24 now, so it's like 8 years. But yeah, I just fell in love with it and just chased it however I could.
Got you. And no, it's still it's one of those that it's like because I knowing you now for a few years now, knowing again the group of guys you were around, that it's like it's still crazy to think, yeah, you guys are still just that young, but have been doing it for a while now.
For real,
Like
yeah.
the name of the group wasn't a lie; it really was Young, Dumb, and Broke. Like you
Young,
guys
Dumb, and
were,
Broke.
and just seeing again the performers you guys have become and just the growth and all that, it's been amazing to see. And I don't want to talk about that growth because I have a picture here that I had to steal from your IG just to talk about that evolution for you because it is a crazy 8 years. But now that also brings with that evolution the name change, because I feel like it's no stranger to anyone that knows you and that's been a fan of your work knows that you were using the name for the last 7 years or so, Ellis Taylor. So
Yes,
what
sir.
inspired that? What created this change and made you decide, you know what, I'm going to be Pat Dynamite now?
I think for me, it was a combination of one, sitting on it for a long time. I had the name in my head, and it felt like an inevitability, but I wasn't sure when to pull the trigger. Um, And it just so happened that it kind of lined up that we started, having issues amongst the group. Everybody started fighting. We started going our separate ways. And I felt like I wanted people to identify me as me and solely me rather than think of me and think of Young, Dumb, and Broke, or always have to reference it wherever I go. And so it's kind of been like a starting over point for me, almost like separating from the group to an extent, not entirely, but to an extent, doing my own stuff for the most part while dipping my toes back in with them, like when there's a fun opportunity or when something comes up. But that's really the point behind it for me, is like a full rebrand almost, to just put more focus on me and what I'm doing.
Gotcha. No, and that makes sense. And I feel like that's one of those things of, even when you guys are almost pulling away at the same time, it's always going to interconnect. Like a lot of the
Sure.
matches we're going to be talking about, there's a lot of that it's like somehow you guys are still aligned
Yeah.
somehow. If it's
We'll
facing
never
off
get away
against
from
each
each
other,
other.
yeah, it's that amazing story there, that it's like even if you guys are facing or somehow teaming again, just it's always going to be somehow you guys interconnected. With that being said, though, that has been one thing. Like the few matches I've gotten to call of yours, I always feel like that is something to make sure I make note of, is that it does feel like you are finally, it is just Pat Dynamite now. You're getting to step away. You're creating your own name here. This isn't just the, oh, this is Young, Dumb, and Broke's Ellis Taylor. This is like, no, you're now stepping on your own. You're doing your own legacy here. And it's great to see what you are creating and have created so far.
Thank you so much.
So definitely. So now that also brings something I did want to clarify, because this is one thing I always bring up on commentary that I'm like, I think I got it, but I want to ask you here, the theme that you use.
Yes,
I
sir.
feel like there's a special story behind it. Can we share that here? Why you chose the theme that you use? I think I know, and I've said it on commentary, but I want to see, am I right with it?
Yeah, so I come out to House of the Rising Sun by the Animals, for anyone that doesn't know. And that was my trainer, Jimmy Rave's entrance music. And he used that for years and years. And it took me a while to come around to using it after he passed. But to me, it really like keeps him alive through what we're doing. Like me, Jordan, Griffin, Charlie, everybody else that he's trained at CZW, like I really feel like we have a responsibility to like carry on the legacy, especially of someone like Jimmy Rave, who helped us so much. Um, and if just using the music is something that I can do to kind of like make people remember a little bit here and there, and it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like he's still watching out over us or over me when I'm wrestling.
No, and that's something every time you come out. At least when I've called one of your matches, I make sure to make note of that and just say it, because it is something great to see, to have that it's like I make sure to say it. Like you see the shades, even in certain things you do in the ring. It's like you see that Jimmy Rave touch, you know.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. He's a big influence for me. Totally.
no, so that's awesome there to see. But now, especially again, I know one of the main reasons people are here as well. They want to hear about these matches you have coming up. So starting with this weekend, you have something right up here with BST. So I want to get your thoughts on this one
Yes,
right
sir.
here, as you're going head to head here with Sean Knight. So can you talk to us a little bit about this and your thoughts going into Star Spangled Bash?
So this is an interesting match for me because it's my debut over at Blood, Sweat, and Tears. But it is not at all my first time getting in the ring with Sean Knight. I've had a series of tag matches with him. The last time I wrestled him, me and Charlie went up against him and Onyx in a like Falls Count Anywhere tag team match. Crazy, beat the hell out of each other. So I know what he's about. I know what he brings to the table. I'm excited for the match. I'm excited to pick up that W just like last time. But yeah, that should be a lot of fun. Very excited for that show.
No, definitely so. And again, I know BST has been doing great things, and I can imagine BST's definitely been watching, because they've been seeing what you've been doing even over at We Are Wrestling, where I remember BST's promoter was definitely watching you guys, watching Time Bomb do your thing. Unfortunately, that night came up a little
Yes,
short, but hey, it's the
unfortunately.
hey, I definitely know from what I've heard from We Are Wrestling, the plans for Time Bomb are not over yet. Time isn't
Yes,
over for
sir.
you guys.
Time Bomb will return. Time Bomb's looking to like take over the country right now.
Yeah, which I do have to talk about that. Where did because that's an interesting name right there. Again, the ever connecting circle of what was Young Dumb and Broke. What was that for you guys creating almost that new name for you guys as a duo?
So I think what really created the like divide in the group was this desire for from me and Griffin to move on, and a desire from Charlie and Jordan to keep growing what we had. Um, so I think me and Griffin see a lot more on the same page, and we want to more define our own legacy, but we can still come together when we need each other for those tag matches. And we were getting too much, oh, they're still young, dumb, and broke, young, dumb, and broke, young, dumb, and broke. And we wanted to just nip that in the bud and give everyone something else to call us. We were driving to Wrestling Open. It's like a 6-hour car ride. So we had plenty of time to think of a name. And Top Guy Time, Pat Dynamite, we came up with Time Bomb. And I think it's really been clicking. People are like remembering it, getting behind it. They enjoy the name. It gives us
Oh,
something to
it definitely works, and it definitely again it creates something where it's now a new extension of what you guys are doing, what you guys are creating. We just got to get graphic designers to remember that when
yeah,
making these new graphics, because we have a match
there.
we're going to talk about in a little bit that I'm like, I feel like that needs to be switched, but we'll talk about that when we get to that in a little bit. But then next week, you'll have a stacked weekend starting from Friday to Sunday. I was looking at the graphics. I'm like, oh, he has a busy weekend next week as we
Yes,
start
sir.
with Super Crazy with their fully charged Friday night events, as it's the Battle of Dynamites here, as it's Tim
Yes, sir.
Dynamite
There ain't
going
room
ahead.
in this town for two of us.
That's gonna be one. It's it's a double feature that I guess I should say that weekend with you at Super Crazy, because you're there that Friday with Super Crazy itself, but then the next night we have another show to talk about. But start with this one, the Battle of Dynamites here. Your thoughts going head to head with Tim here.
Yeah, so for the last like 6 months, everywhere I go in like the New Jersey scene, it's a question people are asking: when are you gonna wrestle Tim Dynamite? And he's told me he gets asked the same thing. So the opportunity finally arose. They were doing a show last weekend, I believe, over at the Bank Bar. I decided to show up, get involved in Tim's match, and cost him a number one contenders match. Now he's got a reason to fight me, and we can finally settle this and figure out who the better Dynamite is. But that should be a lot of fun. It's 10 minutes from where I live, so
That I feel like you might have the best commute ever to Super Crazy, because that's
oh
usually
yeah,
the complaint when it goes to go to Super Crazy. That's like this travel. Like the building is amazing. I love the venue there, but it's just like this commute is yeah.
yeah. I lucked
So
out with the commute.
so you definitely again 2 days in a row you have the amazing commute there, because then the next day after the Battle of the Dynamites you'll be going for SPO, or should I say technically the High Five
I
present.
guess so,
Actually,
right?
yes, because I believe they're taking over this event here. Johnny Cashmere and the new Backsies are not too happy with this, as it's going to be unnecessary as you're going head to head with Sunny Kiss, with special guest referee Brandon Downey. But you'll also be accompanied to the ring by Tiny Dynamite here, as
Yes,
this a number one
sir.
contenders match. Even though, from what I'm hearing from Johnny Cashmere and the guys, you are the rightful number one contender already. So this is very interesting here with this
Yeah,
situation.
I thought I was the rightful number one contender too, but obviously the High Five are putting this show together, and they had other thoughts. To me, it kind of smells like a setup. Me, Sonny, Brandon, all at the same place at the same time. I'm gonna have eyes in the back of my head, but I also got to focus on winning the match. Um, but before that, I'm actually doing another show that same day. I'm going to be in New York at 2 p.m. for ACW.
Ooh,
Um,
okay.
and I'm going to, I believe, be doing like multi-man, like Survivor Series type match. That's going to be at the Galleria Mall, I'm pretty sure. But so I'm going to have to leave right from there, still in my gear. Zoom right down to the super crazy building for SPO, get right in the ring and get to work. But it's not going to slow me down. I'm going to walk out with the W.
I was gonna say that definitely is gonna add now to, unfortunately, the stress now of this being a number one contenders match and having to make that commute, which I just said you had the best commute. Now it's like, nope. Now
Yep,
it's still
nope,
making those
not
towns to be
anymore.
able to be able
At
to
least I
get
got
through that.
Friday.
There you go. Friday at least you're right there. So Battle of the Dynamites, nice and fresh. But when it
Exactly.
comes to this, it's like, nope, you're going in there. But no, this is a situation from what I'm hearing. The high five are running amok at SPO, and I can imagine this is Channing Decker trying to keep you away from his championship here. So having you face Sunny instead of just
Yeah,
defending at this event.
I think I don't think it's a secret. I think Channing Decker's ducking me. I think he's scared of the undefeated Pat Dynamite. I don't think he wants to put the title on the line, but he's gonna have to once I beat Sonny Kiss and become the number one contender again.
There you go. This will be again next Saturday. But like I said, that Sunday though, again, it doesn't end there. The weekend still goes as the next day you'll be at Smash Master Wrestling here as you'll be in a, let me get this straight, a celebration scrambler for the
Yes, sir.
Smash Mountain qualifier here, as it's yourself, TKO, Journey Burke, and Marco Narciso or Narisco, I want to say. My apologies on the butchering of the name here. But it will be this scrambler here, but also a mystery opponent. So somehow Vacant has
Yeah,
gotten his way into your matchup.
mystery
So
opponent always gonna be a rocky one. You don't know what to expect.
so
But
your thoughts going into this one. And again, it is a qualifier, so big opportunity for Smash Master here.
yeah, I have a lot of fun doing Smash Master shows. They're always in cool places like breweries or like wine, like distilleries or whatever you would call that. Um, the last one I did, I had a lot of fun. I did not pick up the win, so I'm definitely looking to rebound here. But what I'm almost equally excited for is I found Bojangles that's like halfway between there and where I live. So I'm gonna head up there and get some of these Dudley Boys cups that I've been seeing them promote. Because I'm a man of priorities.
Hey, it makes sense. You gotta collect the cups, man. You gotta collect the cups.
Got to get the cups.
It makes sense. Hey, those are priorities. Hey, it works because then you can enjoy if you're gonna watch the stuff after. You just have the nice collectible cups there. But
Exactly.
here we go. We got Matt Awesome in the chat there. My
Hey,
guy Pat, what's up? What's going on, Matt?
sir, how you
If you
doing?
guys haven't checked out the last Invictus event, Wicked City, you got to face Matt Awesome. You guys were a part of the scramble there to determine a new Invictus champion there. Unfortunately, yeah, some just shenanigans went on. Then unfortunately, no social media champion could be crowned on that night.
Yeah, well, I got dumped on my head and thrown out of there before that even happened. So I don't but yeah, it was very it was dope wrestling for Invictus. Before then I'd only ever done like a NFW Invictus crossover show
Yep.
with them. But it was cool making my official debut and it also being the main event of the show. Um, but yeah, Matt Awesome's dope. Real cool guy. I got him with that sunset flip power bomb though. He was almost got him 1, 2, 3, but you know, he rolled out of the ring, got away from me.
Hey, it was smart tactics there. I said it. It was great ring awareness because if not, that possibly would have been the elimination right there
Exactly.
of Matt Awesome. But as we continue here, like I said, that interconnecting of just bringing Young, Dumb, and Broke back together happens in the minds of Speedball Mike Bailey here as
Yes, sir.
Fightertainment 5. Again, this was just announced, I believe, this week as well. Young, Dumb, and Broke present Dumber Slam. Can you tell us a little bit of what to expect from this insane event here. I know nothing's been announced yet. I know this is one of those where you're gonna have to wait and see. But can you just tell us a little bit of what we can expect from Fightertainment 5 here?
Yeah, so this is actually something that we've wanted to do for a while. The name Dumber Slam has been in our heads for a long time. Um, and it just happened to come at a time that we're not really all seeing eye to eye, so it makes it a little awkward, but we're still, I'm kind of playing middleman. I'm still kind of cool with Charlie, and he's communicating with Jordan, and I'm communicating to Griffin. um but yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how we all can coexist,
I,
because
okay.
yeah,
'Cause I was
yeah,
gonna say, what is I know again, like we said, you and Griff definitely you can see the relationship is good there. Time bomb's a thing. Um, but I know Griff and Jordan definitely their relationship, unfortunately, at this time is not there. It's not existent at all. Are you and Jordan at least
yeah.
in somewhat speaking terms, or just like you said, the you and Charlie having to be middleman in a sense here?
Um, Me and Charlie have been rolling around, like, doing our tag team obligations. A lot of people still want the duo of me and Charlie, and that's been kind of keeping us together. Um, I'd say Jordan definitely is more on the edge just because of my friendship with Griffin. My lack to leave behind my friend, so to say. But
Okay.
I wouldn't say we're, I don't think we'd fight if we got in the same room. Maybe we won't fight when we do Dumber Slam, but hopefully we can get through the night smoothly.
Okay.
Share a couple beers like old times.
Hopefully, again, if not, this is it's Firetainment for a reason. So, if a fight occurs, I don't think Speedball would be too surprised. So, again, if you guys want to check
Yeah.
that out, the Twitch link is right there, twitch.tv/Speedball Bailey. Yeah, they've been some insane events with Fightertainment. So definitely, Dumber Slam, I can imagine, is going to be even crazier. But again, that week is another stacked one for you. That again, you and Griff have been okay, but shout out to our friends at Constant Wrestling for making a interesting choice here, as it will be three-way dance, as it's going to be Pat Dynamite versus Sean Smith versus Griffin McCoy here for their inaugural event. Talk us through this one, because unfortunately, you and Griff will be on opposing sides here.
We will. So we are no strangers to fighting each other. I think that's part of our understanding, and it's what lets us stay together. We know that it's competition, and that at the end of the day, it's not as much about the team or the group as to us individually. It is about each other. So we know that when we get thrown in those positions like this, that it's going to be full go. It's going to be 100%. We're not going to half-ass it because we're friends. Um, but then you throw in Sean Smith, and that's a whole nother dynamic. He brings a lot to the table that neither one of us do in his crazy offense and everything. But I'm excited because I'm going against some real stiff competition, and that's what makes me thrive. I think it's going to be a great match and a great show. Crazy main event with Jordan Oliver and Jay Lethal. That's like, when we were kids kind of match, we would talk, oh, Jordan versus Jay Lethal would be awesome. And now here it is. It's happening, of course.
Oh, definitely. Again, that card stacked top to bottom, truly an insane thing happening there. Shout out to Constant Wrestling, who are also in the chat right now, which we are going to be giving
Hey.
away 2 ringside tickets. So don't you guys go anywhere. We'll be discussing how you can win those tickets in just a little bit. But again, it is a stacked card top to bottom with a match like that. The huge main event between Jordan Oliver and Jay Lethal, and just an insane mix, because you have just that feel of like a Jersey All Pro mixed with a new age version of wrestling. Like, it's so amazing to see. So shout out to the team there at Constant Wrestling. So awesome to see there. And we
Yeah,
got Matt also.
absolutely. Should be a
Keep in mind,
show.
best friends hit each other harder. Definitely, definitely. And I feel like that's gonna be no stranger to Pat and Griff when it comes to constant just hitting each other a lot harder out of love there.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Everyone better peer pressure constant to keep running shows. Beg them for more shows.
No, definitely so. Because again, I can't wait to see what they continue to produce here. Just the minds behind it. You have TJ Blade there. You have Arcadia, which again, one of the best minds when it comes to this. Arcadia being behind this as well. He has some crazy things up his sleeves. So it's gonna be
Oh
crazy to
yeah.
see what happens at
He's
Constant.
a-
But from there
Absolutely.
as well, like I said, that weekend continues for you as it will be right here for Crossbody, as it's going to be for those tag team championships as Dynasty defend. And like I said, graphic designers are going to have to make a quick switch as you have the team of Time Bomb challenging for those tag team championships there. So talk us through a chance at some tag team gold here.
Yes, sir. So this is a great opportunity for us to cement the team. We're looking to take those straps, bring them back to the States, bring them all around everywhere that we want to go. Places like We Are Wrestling, NFW, another spot we've been talking to each other about tag team action. We're looking to get as much Time Bomb as we can, as many places as we can. We want tag belts, and we want them now. And this is just going to be a first. But yeah, very excited to be back in Canada. Always cool wrestling out of the country.
There you go. That's awesome there. No, definitely to see what you guys can do as a duo, what you guys are doing as solos. I can imagine another company that you've been making your name at as well has been Wrestling Is Now. I can only imagine the Maximos are looking at possibly maybe adding that duo into the mix because as much as tag team wrestling has been a big staple at Wrestling Is Now.
Yes, sir. That's another spot that we have talked about. I have thrown the idea out there and it has been perceived well. So I think it's just a matter of time until you see Time Bomb show up there as well.
Definitely can't wait to see that and can't wait to call that again as one of the voices that Wrestling Is Now. Can't wait to see what happens in the future there. And here we go. Uh well, Matt, that's a match that needs to happen too. You guys versus the Uptown Boys. So we have to see if that could happen with Time Bomb right there. So again,
Yes, sir.
promoters,
Gotta
make
make
it
that
happen.
happen.
Make it
Gotta
happen,
make that.
promoters. So, but as we continue here, now I do want to talk about that for you. Again, creating Pat Dynamite, figuring out what that has been. That process for you though, figuring out after this long time of being Ellis Taylor, how was that process for you figuring out the direction for yourself, what you wanted to envision, what you wanted to create here? How was that process for you?
I think it's really a never-ending process for everyone that's always looking to keep adapting and evolving. But I've definitely been, I guess, prior to the name change, there was a lot of thought put into why would I change the name? Like, what about me would I present differently? And I think it's just being a lot more real. I think as Ellis Taylor, as Young, Dumb, and Broke, I felt very shackled to a role per se. And as Pat Dynamite, I think I'm able to just fully express myself a lot more and like let people see a lot more my actual emotions and just how I really am as a person in the ring, as opposed to trying to fit a role or play somebody on a screen. But that's been a lot of it for me, is just feeling comfortable, and it's been making me feel a lot more comfortable.
No, that is great to hear, and I feel like that's something that, especially as a performer, you want to find what makes it more just relaxing to be out there. What creates that comfortability that's going to make you want to produce more, create more, and just again be able to feel natural when you're out there performing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people have more fun when they can tell that you're having fun. If you're out there and you're stressed out and you're having a bad time, I think people can read that and it changes the energy of the room. I think when you're genuinely enjoying what you're doing, the whole energy of the entire place comes up. And
No,
it's,
definitely so. I think that it's that best thing of like when you especially you could see it that you start to see, okay, cool, they're having that chemistry and there is that moment of like they're enjoying what they're doing. They're enjoying even each performer just enjoying what they're doing in there. You get that feeling of like, okay, now we really want to see what's gonna happen here, what's gonna happen in this match.
yeah, absolutely. Makes it much more enthralling and engaging.
No, no, definitely so. So now, as before we continue here, I do want to give that opportunity for those that are watching. We're gonna talk about for this event right here. Again, we said it. We are giving away 2 ringside seats for Constant Wrestling. This is your first chance. We're gonna be giving another pair away very soon, so stay in the lookout for that. But for our first pair that we're giving away for Constant Wrestling for their inaugural event on July 27th in Sayreville High School in Parlin, New Jersey, you're going to want to answer this question right here. You can answer it here in the chat, or for those that are watching in the replay, you could send it to me via DM and we'll announce it by this weekend. All you have to do is, again, this is why you have to be watching the episode. We talked about a certain theme that Pat uses. So if you can name what that song is, you win yourself 2 tickets right there. So again, that is going to be the way to win 2 ringside seats as well. So imagine for the stacked event that we talked about, featuring Jordan Oliver versus Jay Lethal, that stacked 3-way dance, and so much more. You have legends in the building like Homicide, Azrael, Steve Monster Mac, and so much more. So get yourself 2 ringside seats right there by answering what is that entrance theme that Pat Dynamite uses. So there you go. But as we continue here, Pat, I do have a little bit of a hard hitting question for you. As I want to ask you for yourself, what is a match that you would say that defines your career so far?
Um, the first match that comes to mind is actually the first match that I used the theme song that you referenced in the question before. Um, I wrestled Jordan Oliver at NFW, and I've wrestled Jordan more times than I can count over the last 8 years. But this match had a lot going on in it. First of all, I had like pulled my back in the gym. I could hardly like bend over. I couldn't really like move how I normally do. I was very limited. Um, on top of that, I had like tonsillitis. Like my throat was swollen and I
Oh
could like
no.
hardly breathe. Um, but we had been looking forward to this match for such a long time that I just told myself I had to get through it. And it was with Jordan, so I knew that we would make it happen no matter what. Um, and we ended up wrestling out there for about 35 or 40 minutes. Um, and to me, it just emphasized the drive, the determination that I have to see things through. I don't like pulling out of shows. I don't like not fulfilling my commitments or obligations. I want to wrestle every match that I say I'm going to wrestle, even if my back hurts or if I'm sick, or obviously like if I'm sick and I'm gonna get other people sick, that I'm staying home, or like if I'm injured, like need surgery, that I'm not gonna wrestle. But if I can get there and I can will myself through it, I'm gonna do it. And I think that's really the emphasis of Pat Dynamite also, like the determination, like I'm not gonna give up. So for me, that 35-40 minute match where within the first couple minutes I was in aching pain and my throat was swelling up, and like it was brutal from the very beginning, but we just pushed through, got through it, and it was a great match. um, and that's another reason I think it really defines me is I I don't look at number of people what promotion I'm at, what this or that, like if we're outside, if we're inside, where the venue is, any of that stuff. To me, I'm the wrestler in the ring, and people paid money to be there, and we have a responsibility to bring them back next time. And a lot of times I feel like people let the attendance or the company status affect their performance. I try to never do that, and I try to give the people, even if there's 2 people in the crowd, they paid money to be here. They paid money. If those 2 people go home happy, next time they'll bring 3 more, and now we have 5 fans. And that's how you build shows, rather than just half-assing it and not trying to help anyone. But yeah, that match definitely is, for all those reasons, I'd say a match that really defines me and what I'm about in the ring and when it comes to pro wrestling.
Got you. And no, I commend you for that, because just of either of those things, it's like probably a good reason to be like, you know what? Unfortunately, I don't think I can do this match. But then to deal with both and to then go out there for more than half an hour and pull off an insane match. Again, I commend you on that. And guys, if you haven't already, go check out that match, because I feel like you're gonna have a whole nother just outlook and respect for both performers there to be able to pull off an insane match going through that. And again, like you said, doing it for so long as well. Not a normal just, yeah, let's go out, have a nice 8 to 10 minute match there. No, going over half an hour dealing with all that. Is insane. So much respect to you, Ben.
You're not gonna beat Jordan Oliver in 8 to 10. I'll tell you that.
I definitely wouldn't expect it, but to be like, let's take it easy. Yeah, just a good 30 minutes. That would be fine. Like, oh man, no, that is definitely, again, much respect to you. But now again, talked about matches that you've had, matches that are coming up. For you, is there anyone that's on your radar right now that you would like to face, be it singles competition or in tag with Time Bomb?
This is always a hard question, because it's who do I want to fight? I mean, I was supposed to wrestle Lucky 13 at SPO last show. Lucky wasn't able to make it. That's definitely one I'd like to circle back to. We're both undefeated at SPO. That's got to change. Someone's got to take an L, and it isn't going to be me. Definitely that. Oof. I don't even know. I have people that I want to wrestle for dumb personal reasons. Like, I want to wrestle my friend Bill. He just had his first real independent pro wrestling match. So
hey, that's a reason right there.
The world, I want to wrestle Jacob Van Zant again, because he's another one of our project kids from Young Dumb, someone that really we watched him go from fan watching us to wrestler on the shows with us. So that's always really cool to see. I'd love to run it back with someone like Charles Mason. We have a lot of history, and it's been a while, but that would be very cool. Johnny Cashmere, I'm calling you out right now. Ooh. I don't care where it is. We're gonna wrestle for an hour. It's gonna be an Iron Man match, and you can't say no.
There you go. So
Arcadia,
shout out to
Arcadia. Oh. I know you don't wrestle anymore, really, but I'm coming for that ass.
There you go. Just calling the vets here. So shout out to Johnny Cashmere and Arcadia. Yeah, I feel like Arcadia might be watching this, so that reaction is going to be very, very interesting from Arcadia. But no, again, and I can imagine that. I know the influence, especially that he's taking on you guys as well. So that would be definitely dope to see you two square off, and then you and Johnny in an Iron Man match. That would be interesting. Hopefully this time again you're doing 60 minutes nice and healthy though.
Oh yeah,
Hopefully
hopefully
this one will
healthy.
be.
Absolutely.
I don't know if Johnny will be as healthy because I know he's going into an insane death match this weekend again. I mean, or next weekend, I should say, against Face. So, yeah, he
That's
might
gonna
not be
be
at
brutal.
100. Unfortunately, he might not be at 100 for a while.
Hey, that's fine
So,
with me as long as I'm good and healthy. Like,
hey, there
as
you
long as
go.
I'm good to go, then it's all good.
Gotta stay undefeated. Gotta stay undefeated at SPO. If it happens at SPO
Exactly.
again, just throwing out ideas to the high five, if anything, because I guess they're taking over as well. So that might be something.
Yeah,
You never
I,
know.
I think they've taken over for this show, but hopefully we can get the reins back for the
Yeah.
next show.
Hopefully. I believe Batman was the one that was fighting them. I think so. We shall see. We shall see what happens at SPO there. But as we start wrapping this up, though, Pat, I do have one final question I want to ask you, and that is for Pat Dynamite. What is the end goal, brother?
The end goal, I want to be the WWE champion. I want to wrestle at WrestleMania. It's funny because I feel like a couple years ago, people would act like I'm corny for saying something like that. And now it's kind of circled back to everyone wants to go to the WWE again. For me, I started wrestling, and the only thing I wanted to do was go to the WWE. Of course, there are other things in between there that would be amazing and very cool, but the end goal is WWE World Champion, WrestleMania. And I've been pushing for 8 years now. I'm only 24. I've got plenty of years left, and I'm determined to make it happen no matter what.
Oh, there you go. And again, that is something that it's a realistic goal. It's something where again, what you've been doing in those insane 8 years, just seeing what you've grown so far, and to think what you can grow in the next 8, and again, keep going from there. It's gonna be insane to see, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Guys, if you haven't already, please make sure you are following Pat on all of his social media right there. Follow him on Instagram right there, Pat Dynamite. Follow him on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Pat Dynamite right there. Go and check out these amazing events that he has coming up. And definitely, Pat, thank you so much again for joining me here. It's been a pleasure, as always. And to everyone watching, thank you guys again for tuning in. As always, don't forget to be wise, be genuine, be real, be better people, respect the craft, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, everybody.
Hey, respect